So let's talk about the fact that when you address the gut, that your tolerance is going to improve of probiotics, right? Even if you, let's say, you come in and let's say you've got a bunch of parasites and bacterial overgrowth going on. If you come in and bring herbs in, just at the end of that protocol to eradicate or reduce those infections, you should, in theory, tolerate probiotics better. Is this true?
So repeat that one more time. I want to make sure I grabbed all that.
Just knocking down the bugs alone, you're going to
Yes.
tolerate probiotics more.
So a couple things. It just depends. So patients come in, they're telling me, hey, I have problems with fermented foods. So one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go on a lower FODMAP diet and we're going to starve out some of these critters. So the first mechanism is we're starving. So lower FODMAP kind of template, cutting out the fermentable oligodisaccharide mono and polyol foods. That creates a starvation-like effect. And that can beat down the critters without having to kill them just by cutting down their fuel source. It's kind of like yeast and sugar, right? You go lower sugar, lower carb, you can starve out some of the candida. That is one of the first things. And then we work on digesting as well, because if we have a lot of bacterial overgrowth, we know low stomach acid is a common issue with bacterial overgrowth. So we work on good enzymes, good acid production. We make sure that we're digesting our food well and we have good motility. If we're going into the bathroom every 2-3 days, well, we're making ourselves toxic through our toxins in our stool. So there's like the 6R approach that I've done for a decade here, and it goes with every patient. And now there's different aspects of each R that we'll talk about that we can implement. So the first R is removing the bad foods. Now, for some patients, that could be a paleo template. For some, that's a paleo autoimmune, low FODMAP. Some it's carnivore. Some it's a low salicylate, low FODMAP kind of SED template. There's different ways and different levers that we can move within that first remove R. The second R is to replace enzyme, replace acid, maybe biosalt, maybe bitters. It depends on how good or bad someone's guts at for that. The third R is going to be repairing the digestive tract or repairing the hormones, because hormones are, especially adrenal, they play a huge role in reducing inflammation. And people that have a lot of gut issues, their immune system is overstressed, they're usually inflamed, and they're also pretty tired. So getting good hormone support can decrease inflammation, help with energy, help with mood. The fourth R is going to be removing the infections, where we go after things in order of operations. So there's different H. pylori, there's yeast, there's parasites, there's bacterial overgrowth. There's an order of how we hit those for best success. And this is where the killing of a lot of this stuff comes into play. So the first major component that allows us to be able to potentially, let's say, get exposed to FODMAPs or probiotics in the future and be able to tolerate it is first starve things out. The second thing is kill things. And the third thing is going to be crowd it out. And then once we've done that fourth R, the remove R, then we use specific botanicals to help knock these herbs down or knock these critters down, which then allow us to handle probiotics or fermentable foods, is now repopulating, reinoculating with probiotics. And we may choose different species depending on what you can or can't handle. So typically I'll come in there and I'll challenge and see if our probiotic intolerance has changed, and we may add in different lactobacillus species, or we may go to more spore-based species or Saccharomyces species or low histamine species. So I'll kind of test it in between and we'll see what works. And then we retest. We want to make sure that infections are gone and no new infections have come back. Sometimes a infection that wasn't there originally could come back, like H. pylori or a parasite. So you have to test it on both sides to ensure that we're knocking it out.
Are
Does
you
that
going
make
to
sense?
It does. Are you going to retest before or after probiotics? Like, let's say you do a round of herbs, knock bugs down, then you come in probiotics. Are you going to test after that? Or are you going to kill, test, see what the results are, then maybe kill again, then do probiotics?
I typically retest about 1 month into probiotics. And the reason why I do is because probiotics can help reduce inflammation, right? So if someone's gut's inflamed, you're going to see a major improvement inflammation wise post probiotics, or at least, given enough runway for them to work. I find that a month is usually pretty darn good. And then number two, the immune system can improve with probiotics. So we can see improvements in IgA, and we know probiotics can help with digestion too. And I would say the third thing after that is probiotics have been shown to help improve gut permeability, partly through, I think, inflammation, partly through crowding bugs out. They can help with gut permeability, hence autoimmune stuff. And so those are the big reasons why immune, digestion, and gut permeability significantly can improve, and inflammation reduction can improve post probiotics.